It was one of those gray November mornings in Chicago, the kind where even the street lamps seemed to shiver in the cold. The train station buzzed with commuters, their faces downturned, shoulders hunched against the wind. But Michael was in no hurry. He stood still, his little daughter Ava's hand tucked in his own, her bright pink scarf trailing behind her like a kite. Michael was a single dad trying to piece together a new life after losing his wife 2 years earlier. He worked nights at a bakery and picked up odd jobs during the day. Every morning he and Ava made the trip to the station, not because they had anywhere to go, but because Ava loved the trains. She called them magic dragons. That morning, as he lifted Ava onto a bench, something caught his eye across the platform. A woman, alone, shivering, and visibly pregnant, stood near the edge, her suitcase slumped beside her. Her coat was thin. Her eyes were red, and she looked lost. Michael didn't think. He just walked over. "Ma'am, you okay?" he asked, his voice gentle. She looked startled, then quickly tried to compose herself. "I'm fine, thank you." But she wasn't fine. Michael saw it. People who've been through darkness recognize it in others. You waiting for someone? She hesitated. No, just trying to figure out where to go next. Michael looked down at the suitcase. It had a broken wheel and a faded luggage tag. "You hungry?" She blinked at him, uncertain. "Excuse me, my daughter and I. We were just about to get hot chocolate and muffins from the bakery down the street. You're welcome to join us." For a long moment she stared at him as if trying to decide whether to trust him. Then she nodded. "My name's Leela," she said softly. Inside the bakery, warmth and cinnamon filled the air. Ava chatted to Leela as if they'd been best friends forever, offering her napkins and even her last marshmallow. Leela ate slowly, her hands trembling slightly. She told Michael she was recently widowed. Her husband died in a car accident just months after she found out she was pregnant. She had no family, no friends close by. She hadn't planned to end up at that station. It was just where the bus had dropped her. Michael listened, offering no pity, just presence. When she said she didn't know where she'd spend the night, he didn't hesitate. "You can stay with us. It's not much. Just a 2-room apartment above the bakery, but it's warm and safe." Tears welled in Leela's eyes, but she nodded. Over the next few days, Leela and Ava grew inseparable. Michael helped her get settled. He even made space for her in Ava's room, fixing up a crib he found secondhand. They shared dinners, laughter, and stories. There was no awkwardness, just a quiet understanding that sometimes broken people make the strongest families. What Michael didn't know, what he couldn't know, was who Leela really was. Leela Holloway hadn't just lost a husband. She had walked away from $1 billion inheritance. Her late husband's family was one of the richest land-owning dynasties in the Midwest, with properties stretching from Wisconsin to Kentucky. But Leela never wanted the spotlight. She married for love, not legacy. After his death, overwhelmed by grief and suffocated by lawyers and expectations, she walked away. Literally. The morning Michael found her, she was fleeing from all of it. She had nothing but a suitcase, a few $1,000s in cash, and a baby growing inside her. One night, as Michael tucked Ava into bed, Leela stood quietly in the doorway. "I never thanked you," she said. "You don't have to." Michael replied, "People need help sometimes. You'd do the same for me." She smiled, sad, soft. "Most people don't think that way anymore." He looked at her for a moment. Maybe most people just haven't been hurt enough to learn. 3 months later, Leela gave birth to a healthy baby boy, right in the apartment in a blizzard, with Michael delivering him by phone instructions from 911. She named the baby Leo, short for Leonard, after Michael's grandfather, who'd been kind when no one else was. And after the baby was born, everything changed. One morning, a long black car pulled up in front of the bakery. A man in a tailored suit stepped out, holding a leather envelope. "M.S. Holloway," he said, bowing slightly. "Your presence is requested at the reading of your late husband's estate. You are now the sole beneficiary, over $1.4 billion in land assets. The board is waiting for your decision." Michael looked stunned. Ava blinked. Leela, holding Leo, simply said, "No, thank you." The man looked confused. "I've made my choice," she said, glancing at Michael and Ava. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." But what she did do quietly was use her influence behind the scenes. The bakery suddenly received a massive renovation grant. Michael's apartment was redone rent-free. Ava was accepted into one of the best private schools, fully funded by an anonymous donor. Still, Leela never changed. She made dinner every night. She walked Ava to school. She helped run the bakery's books, which started turning a real profit. And slowly, the three of them, Michael, Leela, and their children, built something that money couldn't buy, a home made from kindness. Final scene one afternoon, Ava looked up from her drawing and asked, "Daddy, are we rich now?" Michael smiled and glanced at Leela, who was napping on the couch. Leo curled against her chest. "Yeah," he whispered. In every way that matters. Spring arrived gently, brushing the city with warmth and new beginnings. The bakery now had a second window, painted by Ava in wild strokes of yellow and blue. Locals began calling it the Sunshine Shop, and not just for the pastries, but because of the feeling inside. Leela, once a shadow in a cold station, had become the heart of the place. Customers gravitated to her without knowing why. Maybe it was the calm in her voice, or the way she remembered everyone's name. No one suspected her past, and she never brought it up. The billions, the land, the legacy, all of it remained untouched, sealed in documents she had no desire to open. One morning, Michael found a letter tucked into the drawer of the bakery register. It was in Leela's handwriting. "If you're reading this, I want you to know I chose this life. I didn't fall into it. I wasn't rescued. I found something more valuable than anything I left behind, a man who sees people, not stories, a little girl who gave me a reason to wake up, a home built from trust. If I ever disappear again, know it's only to protect that, not from the world, but from the weight I once carried." She hadn't disappeared. She was upstairs humming to Leo, whose tiny hand gripped her hair as he dozed. Michael folded the letter and didn't speak of it. He simply